Weird Fishes, written and read by Frank Blissett. Oh, I know who you're talking about now. Barney Jones. I just always knew him wearing a ratty sweatshirt. That black overcoat you saw was because you're not from our neighborhood. He only ever wore his Columbo coat when he was somewhere he didn't know if he had a place to duck into if it got cold out. Never really wandered far, though, far's I know. For years I only knew him as that one homeless guy with the purple stocking cap. He wasn't really homeless, though. You know Marie LeClaire? She has the 4-story apartment building on 10th. He lived in her basement. She says it was because he was her handyman, but it was really charity. Marie's just the sort who can't admit to being generous. Wait, let me finish. I once saw her roll her eyes with a big sigh at a Salvation Army ringer, but when she came out the store, she slipped a dollar bill in the pot without him seeing. So now, what's that? No, she divorced Jack a while ago. You're right, Jack's a real son of a bitch. Real piece of work. Can fix anything on 4 wheels or 2, though. That's about the only thing he takes pride in. Everything else is just an opportunity for him. Would trust him with my car, but not my wife, if you know what I mean. Well, Jack never liked Barney, and I think that's part of the reason Marie kept him around. Barney, that is. She's the only one could ever keep Jack on a leash, but even she got tired of his attitude. Jack's actually the reason Barney slept on a cot in the basement instead of using one of the apartments, but Barney didn't mind none. Came and went through the alley. Didn't seem to like being on the street side at all. And the alley there, if you ever seen it, is one of those old, narrow ones mostly blocked off by gates and dumpsters and such. Fire marshal'd have a fit, but they're so frickin' incompetent anyways. Believe it or not, Barney tried to keep ducks back there once. Yeah, you heard me, ducks. Said he needed them for the eggs. Guess you could say he was an odd duck, eh? Well, Marie would have none of it. She said to me once, I don't mind all the junk he has hanging up out there, but I draw the line at anything that shits. Well, she actually didn't mind her tenants keeping cats. No dogs, though. Or ducks, I guess. Though if you pressed her, she'd admit to sometimes taking in strays for a day to feed 'em up and take 'em to the pound in the suburbs that doesn't kill anything unless they need to. I don't know what they ever did with the ducks. Never saw 'em even. I think she should have cut him some slack, though. He came there and the alley was a mess. Junk everywhere. Rats. The whole 9 yards. The tenants on that side of the building just threw trash out the back window. So Barney comes to her one day. I don't know where he was living then, but we saw him around the river a lot. Anyways, he comes to Marie and asks to stay in her alley for a few days if he cleans it up. So she tells him that there's no way he can stay back there, that it's not fit for people to be back there. But sure, if you wanted to tidy up, he could. She just better not catch him squatting back there the next time she was back in the alley. Barney may have looked stone most of the time, but he was no dummy. He knew that was her way of saying yes. Now, I was reading gas meters back then, so I saw a lot of the neighborhood's alleys and basements, and trust me when I say he lived up to his word. The alley behind Maria's place was cleared up in no time, and the next thing I know, he's moved into the basement. He also started his projects. That's the only time I saw Jack give one crap about that building. Then when they divorced, of course, he's all like, oh, I worked so hard to keep that place shipshape. Oh, boo-hoo, Jack never screwed in a light bulb over there. Yeah, I heard he was like that in high school, too. Would work hard to take credit for things he hardly worked at. Now, Jack's old man was a class act, but it obviously didn't rub off. Did you know Jack's dad? He owned the TV repair shop. You know, the one by the old theater. Anyways, sweet man. Always giving kids old parts for their electronics kits. Actually, some of Barney's projects kind of reminded me of those old kits. He turned some of the wall out back into sort of a mural. Looked something like those old WPA murals in the post offices, but his gave you an uneasy feeling. Not as good as those murals either. Pretty rough. He also had bits of junk grouted into the paintings. That's what looked like the old crystal sets to me. Kinda loony, actually. The basement had a little entryway built on, and he turned that into some sort of shrine, too. The inside was painted with pictures of everyday street life, but on the walls he had strung Marys and Jesuses and even a Buddha. On the ceiling he had a baby's mobile hanging there, but he switched out the toys for a bunch of origami birds. But I guess he wasn't hurting no one, so who'm I to judge? Anyway, I'd rather meet him back there than the rats any day. Oh, I only ever went into the basement but once, but no, when I saw it, it was bare. Cleanest boiler room I've ever seen. All he had down there was his cot, a hot plate, and a few changes of clothes, plus his overcoat. Dark, though. Only the one light in the stairwell, and another in his little apartment. I don't know, kinda what I'd think a submarine was like. But back to Barney's projects. Like I said, Jack didn't like him none, so first chance he got, he took a mallet to them. Marie was steamed, too. Not that you could tell unless you knew her, but yeah, she was pissed. She did talk him into saving a few parts she especially liked, though. Barney? No, that was after he took off. Disappeared's more like it. I was actually there, too. He'd been MIA a week or so, and Marie was chatting on the front stoop with the garbage man, asking if he'd seen Barney anywhere. I was there buzzing a friend's apartment and suggested to Marie that she check the basement. You know, just in case. I think she was just looking for someone to suggest it to her so she wouldn't be accused of snooping. Anyway, the three of us went back there. Marie knocked on the basement door. No answer, of course. I was standing back in the alley with the garbage man because there wasn't room for us all in the entry. So she opens the door. It was unlocked, and stumbles back with a gasp. God-forsaken truth. The door opened and there was this deep, golden glow. To be honest, I'm probably remembering it bigger than it was, but I remember it being bright as heaven. That man had put gold leaf down the whole hallway. I didn't go down there, but Marie did, and he wasn't there. Just his clothes, hot plate, and cot. How'd I know where he went? Just gone. We never seen him again. That's when Jack took his mallet to the wall. It's mostly gone now, except for a few little scraps. But that bastard couldn't take that last heaven-bright memory from my brain. That's something he'll never do. That was Weird Fishes, written and read by Frank Blissett.